Steam patch launched with little impact, at least for Warrior as a class. Blade Swan remains go-to way of warrioring and it doesn't seem that will change anytime soon. Berserker and Spellbreaker fortunately aren't far behind, and we can expect bigger variety amongst warrior mains. My tests concluded with Berserker achieving around 18,000 DPS and Spellbreaker 17,000. That is, without runes, sigils and utility buffs. Thanks to the power of my singular brain cell, I don't need to waste resources. I would rather spend towards cancelling Deimos' kneecap subscription. The numbers my test concluded on could be further increased if I wasn't an incompetent muppet and didn't miss my bloody rotation. What we land at is a close draw between both sparers. Spellbreaker does around 8% less damage but doesn't sacrifice his toughness to go ballistic and has full counter, which allows him to greed and position himself where Berserker cannot. Unfortunately, if Spellbreaker can't get counter reliably off, he can't compete with Berserker's DPS. At least now, playing Spellbreaker is not griefing, and with one or two small buffs Spellbreaker might actually become viable. Unfortunately, Steam patch also shines the spotlight on some other issue. You see, vast majority of Warrior's glaring issues aren't tightly connected to elite specs. Entire class stings because its core is rotten. Every elite spec brings to the table flat damage steroid or percentage damage increase, most commonly both. In other words, core warrior doesn't have a single viable DPS build, and that isn't fair. The only warrior core build that is at all viable is a support build, believe it or not. However, now it is heavily outshined by Blade Swan's version of the same build. I can understand that Elite wants players to actually buy their product, but Elite specs should bring players towards the decision of purchase by looking and playing great, not by being the only viable thing class has to offer. Newcoming players will for the most part interact primarily with the core, before they reach the stage where GW2 offers them expansion content. And interacting with halfway collapsed Abomination probably doesn't say this is what you want to play to anyone besides those few whose favorite race is undead. For every elite specs you equip, you have 2 core specs, and making all core specs viable will benefit everyone, regardless of the class, mode and playstyle they prefer, or whether or not they throw their wallets at Ainit or not. My first idea on making core warrior viable would be of course arms rework. That way we have power steroids spread between 3 specs, which means core specs have more damage and not all of that damage is applicable to the elites. That's all for now. Details later. Crabface out.